Hi guys, and welcome to day 7 of the 14-day weight loss challenge. And today is quite a good one, but I'd also want to try and make a point of mentioning that this is not essential for weight loss. It very much contributes towards a positive outlook, not just on physique, but also on other assets and other facets within your lifestyle and within your sort of personal well-being as well. Now, I'm just going to go through some of the sort of the bullets on it, and then I'm just going to talk a little bit more in depth as to how and why that would be more beneficial to you rather than not doing it. Again, it's not essential that you do this, and it's not essential that you do weight train, and I'm going to also dispel some myths, and hopefully that might then open your mind, open your eyes a little bit more to the benefits of weight training, as opposed to having the outlook and the mindset of it being about getting bulky, getting jacked, looking too muscular, not looking right for your body shape. So, studies have shown that weight training is superior to any other form of exercise when wanting to change your body composition. Now, what's interesting about this is that weight training in its own right has got so many different benefits, lots of different benefits as to how it can benefit you mentally, physically, and also how it looks and makes you feel as a person. So there's lots of different ways of exercising, there's lots of different sort of methods to weight training, or people's perceived looks and beliefs on weight training. Now, for anybody that does things like studio-based classes, like type circuits with barbells, I'm not going to mention names, I don't want to get sued, but you can kind of guess which ones I'm kind of aiming towards. Now, these are good. I'm not saying they are bad, but they are good in the sense that it's actually getting you to move. It's actually giving you some form of structure. It's getting you to lift weights. It's getting you to kind of push some physical boundaries and start setting new levels of fitness. However, there is very much a area of where you'll plateau, so you'll only get so far with these classes, you'll only get so strong, and you'll only reach a certain level of fitness. Now, the reason for that is this: there isn't anybody kind of telling you to up a weight, so therefore you're not going to do it. There isn't anyone kind of coaching you and saying, how did that feel? To which you reply with your feedback, whether it was easy, it was hard, it was very hard. When you haven't got that feedback, it's very hard to relate as to how that actually does feel week in, week out. If it feels too easy, you don't kind of maybe feel incentivized to go heavy. You may do, you may not. If you do, brilliant. If you don't, then I would maybe consider the next time you do one of these studio-based classes that you actually think, well, how easy was that? Could I have gone heavier? And if the answer to that is yes, then I would recommend that you do go slightly heavier. The other aspect to this is you are in a room full of other people, which is good because it's bringing out a social aspect. You feel like you're part of something. There's a bit of a community feel within these classes. That's brilliant. However, the motivation to step up and go a little bit heavier, do more reps within the track or in the time, is pretty limited. So I guess what I'm saying is it's easy to get too comfortable in classes like that without anyone kind of spurring you on if you don't have that motivation yourself. Now, that type of training will help build a stronger, leaner and toned body, but at the same time, you're going to plateau rather quickly. And they do turn around and say, oh well, the next track is going to do this, this and this. However, that's all well and good. You try new exercises. You maybe going at different intensities. Thing is, your body's going to adapt to that rather quickly. This is where weight training is superior, because the type of weight training I'm talking about is something that you do for a period of time. You build up that level of fitness and strength, then you have to up that level again in order for you to carry on in the right direction. If you don't, you're kind of going to find it easier. Therefore, if you find it easier, you're like, well, this is good, you feel comfortable, you're probably very unlikely to then push yourself that little bit more. Weight training in a gym, when you follow a structure and a plan, takes that away from you. You're kind of being guided, you've been told, right, okay, if this is too easy, then I would suggest you go up a weight. Now, it's very hard to do when you're in a class, but I do get it that it can be quite intimidating, it can be quite daunting stepping into a gym when you don't have that knowledge or that experience or that confidence to do the exercises that you feel would benefit you. I totally get that. When I first started weight training, before I was qualified as a trainer, I felt very intimidated because there was guys bigger than me, more jacked, seemed to know what they're doing. Now, having gone back almost 10 years, if I walked into that room now, knowing what I know, I wouldn't feel that intimidation, because half the time people in there don't really know what they're doing and they're just getting on with what they feel is right for them, which is brilliant because they're actually making the choice to do that and they're actually in there and they're actually motivated to do so. You can't fault that. I'll never fault that. So, if you are someone that does studio-based classes, I would highly recommend next time you go in, just think about how easy, how hard that session was, and if you can increase the weights, do it. Forget what everyone else is doing. You're there for you. You're there to get the best workout that you can possibly get. So forget what everyone else is doing. Remember, this is all about you and what you want to do. Now, physiologically, how this can affect and improve things like anxiety, low mood, depression. Weight training has been shown time and time again that it can improve things like anxiety, it can improve low mood, it can actually help with depression. That's why doctors now always recommend, before, some do anyway, before prescribing any kind of medication for someone that's with low mood or depression, that they exercise of some description. Now that's going to boost good feeling hormones like serotonin, and that then will... So by weight training, you can then help improve those symptoms and take you away from that. Once you start to find your weight training mojo or your exercise type mojo, you'll become slightly more, would I say the word addictive? Probably, because of the way it makes you feel and the way it makes you look. It becomes very much like a good feel factor. Once you see those benefits, once you realize the benefits of that psychologically and physiologically, then you are going to do it more and more and more. I think what tends to happen in gyms, or in my experience, is that people have a good start, they have a good motivation, they get going, and then they realize after a while they don't seem to progress. They're not really getting over that hump with the training. They're just kind of feeling like they're going in and doing the motions. They're not really getting what they truly want from that. And I truly believe that's just down to having a good routine, having a good structure, and having some form of accountability to say, did you work out today? And if so, how did it go? And having someone to relay that information back to. That is going to pay dividends. Because when you're in a class or you turn up, then people are going to see that you're there, which is great because you kind of feel like you're still part of something. However, to really push on to the next level, you really need to look at how you step up and increase the intensity, increase the weight, so then you get over that hump and then you can start on a much more stronger path to getting your results. So that's the benefits to weight training. Again, I'm not setting a challenge with this because I do understand it can be very, very intimidating, very daunting for people to step into a gym when they don't have a Scoobies as to what they're doing. And for people that are over in the stateside, Scooby means, don't having a Scooby means you don't have an idea of what you're doing. Now, this is where I can potentially help you. I'm willing and more than happy to give anybody who's wanting a 2-week program to follow just that. So I will give them a 2-week program. I will check in with them on the 2 weeks and just to see how they feel in terms of weight training, the benefits to it. Now, this isn't a sales pitch. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I want to try and help you see the benefits of weight training so then you can have a bit more of an open mind. So let me just tell you very quickly what this weight training program will look like. It is very basic. It doesn't need to be fancy. It's exercises you'll have seen done before. It's probably exercises you've tried before. The other thing is to this, if you're unsure of what that exercise looks like, you will get a video description of that. You'll also get a small written description of how to do that. The other beauty of it is, if you have a question about it, you can post up on this comment, on this thread, any questions on that, so I can then answer that. What I would prefer you not to do is just ask a question willy-nilly about weight training. If we keep it in this thread, it's very likely I'll see it and I won't miss it. So therefore I'm more likely to answer it and answer it at a time that you need that answer. So if you want that and if you would like some form of weight training program to follow for the next couple of weeks, just let me know, just comment below and I'll be more than happy to send that over to you and get you set up. Right, okay, so that's day 7 of the 14-day weight loss challenge. There is also going to be a live Q&A. Now, I want to do that hopefully Friday. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to put a different post up with a poll. So I'd like you to just click on the day and the time that suits you best. Unfortunately, I won't be able to accommodate to everybody, but what you can do is watch the video back with the Q&A. But what I would also do is if you can't make that live Q&A, write your question in there anyway and I will answer it. And you can watch back at that video. And what I will do is also try to fast forward to a time where you answer that question, where I've answered that question. So if I'm into, I think it's going to be about 20 minutes long. So if you ask your question at say 15 minutes, or you type your question in beforehand and I answer it at the 15-minute mark, then I'll tag you in and say, right, so-and-so asked this question at this time. I'm going to tag you in at this time. Now, if you are watching this at a later date and you didn't happen to get your question in, then unfortunately there's nothing much I could do about that. What I can do is highly suggest that you watch the live Q&A and hopefully someone will have asked the same questions that you will want to ask. So there you go, guys. If there is any questions about what I've spoken about, or if anyone is wanting that 2-week training program just to try out at no charge, just let me know and I'll be happy to sort you out.